Hey, what's happening? This is Tom, nerdremix.com, and yes, I'm drinking. I got a movie for you today called Lady of the Dark, Genesis of the Serpent Vampire. Intriguing title. Now, this is a new film. It's yet to be released by Philip Gardner, who I have a real hard on for lately. He's done Cam Girl, which I really enjoyed. Paranormal Haunting, The Curse of the Blue Moon Inn, which I enjoyed. The Stone, No Soul Unturned, which was a very fine film, and a couple of others, House of Sin, and everything else. Now, this was directed, written, and produced by Philip Gardner. Executive produced by Warren Coyle, which is a frequent collaborator, and it was narrated by John Symes. Basically, the principal cast consists of one person, the protagonist, kind of like Cam Girl. There's a few victims, but nobody that's got a significant screen time, really. Little poster that Phil sent me that's signed, and this is the main actress, Melanie Denholm, who plays the part of Eve, a lonely housewife. I think her husband's away on business or something like that, newlywed, and she's kind of a spiritual person, always meditating. She gets bitten by a serpent. No coincidence that her name is Eve. She's bitten by a serpent. They also shortly thereafter taking a bite of an apple. Yes, there's lots of subtext here. But let's get into this. Melanie Denholm, she was in Paranormal Haunting for a few minutes at the beginning, and very striking looking woman, and she has a fantastic ass in this, in a little black dress. And as with all of Phil Gardner's movies, she's frequently nude, which is not a bad thing. But acting chops here, like I said, the first probably 30 minutes of the movie is kind of a melodrama about a lonely woman missing her husband, and then you know, Melanie really brings like a melancholy sadness that kind of builds to a slow burn, you know, of a sense of foreboding and an impending doom. And I think the cinematography and especially Melanie's acting have a lot to do with that. I mean, she does a quick turn from innocent housewife to total bitch goddess pretty quickly, and it's kind of cool in that way. But actually not pretty quickly. She does it, like I said, a slow burn. But when she does turn the corner, she turns the corner rather quickly. Now, this is a British production, and two of my favorite vampires ever, screen vampires ever, were British, and that's Christopher Lee and Ingrid Pitt. Now, I'm not going to go and say that Mel Denholm is actually, you know, the new Ingrid Pitt, because nobody can touch Ingrid Pitt in my mind. She's the ultimate woman who ever put on a pair of fangs. Speaking of fangs, these teeth in this are more along the lines of 30 Days of Night, which I think is cool because there's been too much lately of the pussification of the vampire film. From the Twilight series, the Vampire Diaries, stuff like that. The pussification of the vampire in American cinema. And this is British cinema, and hopefully this will save the genre. But that being said, Eve slowly descends into madness, or is she actual vampire? There's kind of a Martin twist there, you know, George Romero's Martin, because you're not really sure what's going on. You know, is she actually a vampire? There's a lot of scenes of her dreaming about things that she does with the vampire, and then it cuts to her writhing in bed, which, by the way, is very hot. Very hot. And, you know, you see her, you know, with her first victim and everything. I don't want to give too much away, but let me just say that there's some breathtaking cinematography in this, some really stark images. The door at the top of the stairs comes to mind, and Melanie Denholm is excellent in this. Like I said, she really brings a sadness to the role, kind of a melancholy to the role, and then she does the slow build pretty gradually. You know, sensitivity to light, she's hungry, and everything else. And then it turns, and you have Bitch Goddess with big chompers and riding around in blood. And then the movie becomes kind of a blood-soaked fever dream of sadomasochistic violence, which is really cool. And like I said, loaded with subtext. I'm going to watch this 3 or 4 more times because I'm sure there's stuff and connections that I can make. But the ending kind of wraps things up. There's, like I said, ominous narration by John Symes at the beginning and the end. and it kind of tells you what happens. And wow, there's everything, you know. There's a lot to like in this movie. Like I said, single protagonist, kind of a descent into madness or a condition that wasn't present at the beginning of the movie, kind of like Gardner did in Cam Girl, but with a more supernatural bent in this, obviously, because there's a vampire. And great wardrobe. They used a lot of sexy clothes on Melanie in this, and like I said, fantastic ass. The rest of her's good too. They show her exercising and stuff, and the writhing in the bed for me was, yeah. So yeah, definitely check this out. It's coming out from Chemical Burn Entertainment. One of my favorite indie directors right now, Philip Gardner. I can't wait to see what he does next, and I can't wait to see what Melanie Denholm does next. And definitely check this out. It's called Lady of the Dark, Genesis of the Serpent Vampire, and I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. That's almost a perfect score for me. And I'm kind of stingy with scores, but yeah. Actually, you know what? Just on the cinematography alone, that'll ratchet up a 9 out of 10. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Definitely check it out. Phil Gardner's movies are not for everyone. You're not going to see a cut-em-up slasher, and that's one of the things I like about his movies, is he does it artsy without being pretentious, and he doesn't feel the need to dumb it down for the viewers, which is cool. So, some pretty highbrow shit here, guys. Check it out. 9 out of 10. Lady of the Dark, Genesis of the Serpent Vampire. I'm Tom, nerdremix.com. Support independent cinema. Thanks.